Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Now you might be wondering, why on earth is this girl dressed so extravagantly? I'm literally in a dress right now. I have no clue why. I just wanted to look cute in this video. I was like, oh, my hair looks cute, so let me try and, you know, look cute as well. Don't really know why, but hey, it is what it is. I wanted to have some fun today. I think I look alright, so boy, we're gonna go with it. So today I am talking all about breakups. So I had someone Snapchat me not long ago. They didn't want their name mentioned. I can't even find the Snapchat right now. I just remember it in my head because I was like, I think I want to talk about this. But they Snapchatted me not long ago basically saying, how do you deal with bad breakups? And they had asked me this and they were like, please keep me anonymous, but I've just been through a really bad breakup and I could really do with some advice. That was all they said. They didn't give me the ins and outs of the relationship. They didn't give me context. They didn't give me anything. They just were like, bad breakup, how do I deal with it? So I felt like, do you know what, I'm gonna tackle this question. So as always, make sure you go grab a cup of tea. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna chill, have a little bit of chit chat. I think this is a bit like a girl talk kind of video. In fact, no, both girls and guys go through bad breakups, so just grab a drink and let's get on with the video. So bad breakups, obviously no one likes to go through them. No one even likes to think of the idea of potentially going through a bad breakup. But even things that were potentially the best of the best, you know, you might have had the best relationship where it was nothing but love, it was nothing but affection. You thought that you were going to marry this person, you thought that this person was going to be, you know, the one, and you end up breaking up with them. And, you know, first and foremost, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be upset, it's okay to be mad, it's okay to feel all these types of emotions, especially if you had, you know, hoped that it was going to be a long, you know, longer term relationship. It can bring about so many different emotions when, you know, things like this happen, when you have a breakup, and especially when both parties are not necessarily happy or something happened whereby there's kind of some sort of animosity and anger towards each other. It can be really, really difficult. So I just want to, you know, put it out there and say that it's okay to be hurt, it's okay to be vulnerable, it's okay to want to cry, it's okay, you know, whether you be male or female, you know, it's okay to feel like your world is falling apart. Because when you are in a relationship with somebody, essentially that person becomes a part of your world. You know, to some they even say, you know, that's your world, that's your everything. Not that your happiness should completely depend on that person, but let's be real, when you're in a relationship with someone, you're in a relationship with them because they make you happy. You know, even though you have ups and downs, all in all, they make you happy, they make you feel complete, they make you feel, you know, like they've given you a different source of life. So for that person to then be taken away from you, it does hurt. So that's the first thing that I would definitely say, is that dealing with a bad breakup is about accepting the emotions and the feelings that you're going through, not feeling like, oh, whatever, I'm gonna have to act like you know, it doesn't hurt me. No, it's okay, because we all know that maybe to other people you might turn around and be like, oh no, it's not a big deal, I've accepted it, it is what it is. But really and truly in your room, when you're at home, you're crying. And even if you feel like you don't want to share, you know, that part of yourself with other people, that's fine, but be honest with yourself. Be honest with, this is over, this is done, yes I'm hurt, yes I'm broken, yes I'm crying, you know, that's okay. Go through the notions of those emotions, go through, you know, the problematic phase of not really knowing what to do with yourself because you spent so much time dedicated to that one person, and now you have to kind of find your feet again and find yourself again. Go through all of that, that's okay. The other thing that I would definitely say in terms of dealing with a bad breakup is, after you've done that, do not pre. Now this is especially to my ladies, because I feel like it is so hard for us. Pre, just in case you don't really know, is like watching that person, watching what they're doing. So, you know, you might have broken up with the person and maybe you've broken up for a month, for 2 months, but you are still sitting on their Twitter, on their Instagram, on their Facebook, on their whatever, their high five, their Bebo, their whatever. You're still going and looking you know, for what they're doing, or if they've spoken about you, or if they mentioned you in a tweet, or if they said something, or what they're up to. Please, 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 please take heed of what I'm saying. It will only make things worse for yourself. For someone that's been in that position, yes, whereby, you know, I broke up with my ex, and then what was I doing? Every day I was sitting there praying on Twitter, praying on, you know, well, he only has Twitter, so preying Twitter basically, and just trying to see like, oh, did he tweet, or what did he say, or did he mention me, or all of these little things that essentially you might feel like will help you at that time, because you just want to know what they're up to. it doesn't help. It will only slow down the process of, you know, moving forward and moving on, and it will only keep hurting you and reopening those wounds. You know, it's like, you know, almost like you get a cut on your arm, you know, for example, then you put a plaster on it. Now, instead of letting that plaster do its job by, you know, closing up the wound, allowing your skin to re-heal, you keep taking off that plaster, touching the wound, poking at it a little bit, so all the nastiness that you've got on your hands, dirty hands you've been touching everywhere, going into that wound will never heal, because you're not allowing it the time and the space to heal. And that's exactly like a relationship. You know, if you keep opening up those wounds by going and watching what that person is doing, you are literally just slowing down the process for yourself. So please, I know it's hard and I know it's difficult, even if it means you have to unfollow that person off of your socials so that things don't come up on your feed or on your timeline. Do it. And to some people it might be like, oh, but we're grown, it might seem petty. If you feel like that will help you, then do it for yourself. You know, yes, we are grown. Yes, to an extent you shouldn't feel like you need to do these things or you need to block that person off of, you know, WhatsApp or whatever to move on. But if you feel like that's the only way in which you'll be able to get to a better place within yourself, do it for yourself. And you have to take the necessary steps in order to ensure that you are good. The next piece of advice that I would give you is to stand firm in your no. Now you might be thinking, what on earth does that mean? Standing firm in your no means if you have decided for whatever reason, now I'm going to go for the extreme situation of which people tend to break up, which is probably like someone cheating on them. For example, if your partner has cheated on you and maybe they've cheated on you multiple times and you have caught them multiple times, which has just led to you being very angry at them and very disgusted at them and just thinking, do you know what, I've given enough of my time and energy to this person, I'm breaking it off, and you guys break up. Let that no be no. Don't now start allowing yourself to start thinking, oh, maybe, you know, they might change, or maybe, you know, that something will be different in the relationship, and adding all these little bit of Maggie cube over here, you know, all-purpose seasoning over here. Don't let that be you. It will kill you inside if you keep on thinking of the ifs and the buts. If you have tried everything possible to make a relationship work and it's just not working, sometimes you just have to let it go. So I don't know what reason your relationship had to break up. You know, maybe it's God and he has something so much greater in store for you in the future. But if you have for whatever reason decided that this is just not going to work, let your no be no. If you've decided that you're going to end it with this person, pack every single item that was ever yours and leave and close that door and do not look back. That often is actually the best thing that you could possibly do, and you often realize that God actually did have something much greater in store for you, but you just have to be patient. Something else that I would say to do in order to, you know, help you get over a bad breakup is to talk to people. You know, often when we're in our feelings or we go through, you know, things like this that can be so horrible and so upsetting, we tend to get closed off and we don't want to talk to our friends, we don't want to talk to our family. For some people, that's just their way of dealing with things. But I feel like for most people, the best way that we get over things is by sharing and by, you know, speaking to other people and just sharing how we feel, sharing our emotions. So if you're someone like that, you know, even if it's just that one friend, speak to your friend, let them know how you're feeling, let them know what's going on inside, because that could be another way for you to overcome those emotions and those feelings that you're going through. Often we find that it's quite therapeutic to speak about things that we're going through, simply because we feel like, you know, it's not just closed up inside, we're not bottling it all up, but instead we're sharing it and we're getting encouragement as well back from that person, especially if you really trust that person, especially if you're very close to that person. You know, I'm sure that they will give you back the encouragement and the motivation that you need to be able to see, because at that moment you probably don't see that there is a silver lining or that you're gonna be okay. At that moment you're probably feeling like I said before, all hell has broken loose, my world has absolutely fallen apart. But as someone that's an outsider, they might be able to look at it and say, yeah, well, I know that you're going through this now, but this is what can come in the future, and this is what you can now do, and this is how I'm going to help you. So I would definitely suggest talking to somebody, because that could be the easiest way for you to just get over that person. And just, you know, even by talking, maybe you might even realize how that person wasn't good for you in the first place, and by talking about it, you might actually start to realize yourself like, oh, do you know what, maybe I am better off without this person, maybe we're just better off, you know, separate, doing our own thing. So just have conversations with someone and see if that helps you. And the final thing that I would say in terms of dealing with a bad breakup is letting go of the hate and learning to be content in yourself again. Now, I've kind of touched upon it in some of the things that I'd already mentioned, but this is just to reiterate anyway. But you know, when you have a bad breakup, it feels like everything in your world is literally just falling apart, especially when that person might have done something to hurt your trust or to hurt you. That can often then mean that someone harbors a lot of hate. But in order for you to move on, you really have to learn to forgive that person. And though it might not come initially, you will eventually have to get to that point, because you will not be able to move on if you don't forgive that person. Why? Because you will always be holding on to that hatred, that anger, that frustration, that how can they do that to me? Or a lot of the times, especially with us women, when someone steps out on us, we tend to question ourselves and doubt ourselves and think like, wasn't I enough? Wasn't I good enough? You know, not even because you're not a confident person, you're an insecure person, but simply just because you thought like, damn, like you were my world, so how on earth could you do that to me? So I would just personally just say that though it takes time, and though it might not happen straight away, you need to learn to forgive that person. And once you've let go and you've learned to forgive that person, you can then go back to doing what you probably, you know, didn't do as much when you were in a relationship, to just focus on yourself, to take that time to really get to know yourself again, to be content with being who you are, being content in your strengths, in the amazingness that you are, you know. Like I said, a lot of the times when we're in a relationship, we get so indulged in that person that we tend to forget about ourselves. Though that's not how it should be, it's human nature. We get so engrossed and so infatuated with that person that naturally, you know, we're not by ourselves anymore, so naturally those things start to happen. But I would just say, you've had a bad breakup, you've dealt with the emotions, you've learned to forgive. Now focus on you and focus on yourself, and focus on bettering yourself, becoming great, fantastic, amazing, bettering your career, bettering your finances, bettering every aspect of you. So I really do hope that that has helped you. Remember, if you do want to ask any questions and you want me to talk about things, you can Snapchat me, hit me up on, you know, DMs or whatever, or email me. Everything will be in the description box below. But for now, I'll see you guys again in my next video. Stay beautiful. Where am I going? I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to look cute. I'm fully in a dress right now in my home, and I'm not going anywhere. Okay. Why are these girls screaming? So for Marset, stop screaming!
Marset! I'm about to shout you again! Make sure nothing hangs out. Why do I still have tan lines? Was I really that pale before? Look guys, can you see it? It's still there in it, or is it just me?